Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Yeonni, and for today's video, I just wanted to sit down and talk about the Travis Scott Astroworld concert tragedy. More specifically, I wanted to talk about Betterhelp's involvement in all of this and just my thoughts about this whole thing. First thing I want to kind of mention is 8 people died at this concert. Victims ranging from like age 14 to 20 something. Children literally died at this concert, and I want to link all the appropriate articles in the description box down below, as well as the GoFundMes that I was able to find. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a commentary person online, so I don't want to cover this in an insensitive manner. So it's best to just go to the direct sources and listen to the stories of the families of the victims and all the people who were there. So I'll link those down below. So that's important to say. And also another thing I want to mention is if this is your first time on my channel, if you've never seen me before, like I said, hi, my name is Yeonni. I am a social worker by training. I went to graduate school to get a degree in social work. I've worked in the field, in the mental health care field for 2-3+ years. All of that to say, mental health care, mental health equity, dealing with grief, trauma, PTSD, anxiety, depression, severe mental illnesses, all of this is not only my job and my career, but I'm very passionate about all of this, especially mental health care equity, and how angry it makes me when corporations and capitalism gets involved in mental health care equity and access for people, which is what triggered me to sit down and make this video. So if I look down, I've taken some notes just so I can stay on track. But let's just get into some thoughts that I've had about all this. So first things first, so it appears that Travis Scott has partnered up with Betterhelp, the company, to provide therapy for his fans and people who have been traumatized by this tragedy, by this traumatic event. And when I first heard about this, the first thought that popped up in my mind is this a brand deal? Did this man just publicly post that he is providing a brand deal to his traumatized fans? And I thought that because Betterhelp historically has worked with public figures, and there was a lot of controversy in the past about Betterhelp and public figures and their partnerships. And from what we've seen in the past is that if you partner with Betterhelp and if people sign up for Betterhelp through your referral, you get money. Like, you get payback. You get a certain sum of money for every referral that you send to BetterHelp. So he didn't say anything about, I'm not getting any money from this, da da da. My mind went to that place of, are you making money off this right now? That also led me down this line of thinking. So let's say Travis Scott is making money, but then also BetterHelp said that they would offer 1 month free of therapy, and then after that, what? Then they start charging people, right? And this is a point that I really want to hit home. As a therapist, I want to let people know therapy is a very, very individualized and personal process. For certain people, when you go through a traumatic event, when you want help dealing with symptoms of depression, there's many reasons why people end up in therapy. And the duration of your time in therapy is so different for everyone, but especially for grief, trauma, PTSD, these are very complex emotions that you will spend a lot of time hashing out, dealing with. And to offer just 1 month, let me tell you, it's very unlikely that someone's trauma, PTSD will be dealt with in the best way in just 1 month. If anything, it takes 1 month even to get to know a new therapist. The idea that these young fans, there are young fans who might look at this and be like, oh, Travis does care about us. Let me go to his referral. Let me put in my parents' credit card info. And then after just a month, those credit cards will be charged and BetterHelp will be making money off this. Makes me feel pretty icky. It is very, very icky to me. So about BetterHelp and my knowledge on it, I don't provide therapy on BetterHelp, but I know that with the digital age, with more and more things, especially during the pandemic, a lot of offices, in-person offices, had to shut down because of the pandemic. So I know that online digital therapy has gotten huge. And huge as in there's 2 parts of that. huge, as in it's been able to provide a lot of mental and emotional support for people who cannot go into offices, people who couldn't see their in-person therapists anymore because offices had to be closed because of the pandemic. They could see someone from the safety and comfort of their own home, or even people who have never even tried therapy. Obviously, in a global pandemic, there's a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, a lot of trauma that comes from a global pandemic. Hello. So many people I know statistically were able to seek out therapy in a more safe and convenient way from just the comforts of their bedroom through online services like Betterhelp and other online platforms. I do know that Betterhelp does good work and can be really, really great for people, but also Betterhelp as a company has had a lot of history of controversy. One thing was like the shady partnerships. There was just a phase on YouTube, was it last year, year before, when it seemed like every big creator was suddenly super into BetterHelp. I have a lot of feelings about this because one, everyone struggles with mental health problems one way or another. It could be anxiety, depression, PTSD. Mental health is like physical health. Anyone can get physically sick, right? So anyone can feel mentally unwell and even mentally like they could use some more support. I get it. But when there is money involved, it's just such a delicate topic. So when big creators started kind of coming clean, talking about their mental health and their struggles and how helpful BetterHelp was, once again, things are not black and white, right? There's many layers to these very delicate circumstances. Part of me was, that's great. We should always be talking more about our mental health when we feel comfortable. No one should be pressured to, but if you feel comfortable to, being able to be vulnerable about what you're going through mentally, emotionally, can give people a lot of strength. Your vulnerability can give people strength, help people realize they're not alone. And then also, you know, by providing this partnership and access to your followers, you could totally help your subscribers and people who support you with their own mental health symptoms. So it seems like a great partnership where it's like, hey, I got help from this thing, you guys can get help from this thing too. But when there is money involved, when there is corporate interest involved, things get dicey. That's why things got dicey when all those, like I said, big influencers started getting sponsorships, because it was not very clear, first of all, that these big influencers and public figures with their sponsorships were getting money from these referrals. So it makes you question how much of this sponsorship is genuine and how much of this was for you to make money. So it makes you think, is it out of the goodness of your heart? Is it because it's just for the money? And in most cases, it's probably both. I bet a lot of these public influencers, public figures did want to help their followers and whatnot. Maybe some didn't. But then also you made a lot of money off that. There wasn't that much transparency. A lot of public figures had to make apologies, retract statements, and da-da-da. And there was also part of BetterHelp where they were kind of like iffy about who their therapists were. Were they licensed? Were they not? Are they just people who are like, say that they're therapists, but they're not? Their background checking was not thorough. So I know that all the controversy that they had to update their website and hopefully really kind of rein in the chaos, and hopefully everyone on their website is licensed, because I was on the website the other day, it says they are. So you can believe it or you cannot, but there's that. I also recently heard that there are also some concerns about your personal health information being safe through BetterHelp, and that the information that you give this company, it could be mined for marketing purposes or sold. Your information can be sold. But there's a lot of iffiness with this company, and that makes me really sad because, like I said, I'm all about mental health care access, equity, making it easier for people to obtain therapy when they need it. But once again, corporatization of healthcare is a disease that this country has, or that the world has, but especially America, where healthcare access seems to be controlled by major corporations. If you don't have money, you can't get healthcare access. And it's the same with mental health care access, with how expensive therapy is. So, oh my God, I just went on a whole, I just went on that whole diatribe, but it's important. So yeah. Shady partnerships, emotional strings, virtue signaling, manipulation, BetterHelp potentially selling your information, allegedly, unlicensed therapists, question marks at some point, all of that to say, maybe Travis Scott meant well. Maybe BetterHelp meant well, but profiting off trauma and grief, it's dicey, it's tricky, but it felt very, very icky. very icky. I'm so passionate about the topic of mental health, and in moments of trauma and grief, when people are being taken advantage of, I cannot stand for that. I do not like that. I don't know. There's a lot of questions and unknowns about this tragedy, and this BetterHelp thing did not help. People are mad. People were mad. And now people are even more mad. At the end of the day, it doesn't feel genuine because there were so many opportunities for this tragedy to never even have to happen. It didn't have to happen. Those 8 people did not need to die. Those kids and people who went to the concert did not have to be traumatized. There was negligence. Maybe criminal negligence, who knows? There's investigations going on right now, but didn't have to happen. And I'm all about thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers can only go so far when someone's children are dead. These people have lost their lives. If anything, Drake and these people with power and money should be opening up their wallets to donate to GoFundMes to pay for therapy of these people. It should not be a brand deal. It should not be sponsorship. You should not be getting money from referrals to BetterHelp. It's gross. And that's all I gotta say. I'm a bit mad. Check out the information that I've linked in the description box down below and donate to those GoFundMes if you can. And yeah, stay safe, everyone. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.